This is actually the next day. The kids actually took the table out of the kitchen for me, and forewarning, I literally have not mopped my kitchen floor in months. So what ended up happening was, in the midst of all the chaos that we had in November and December, my mop broke, and I really haven't had time to take the time to like research what I wanted to replace it with. And finally what we came to was getting the O-CEDAR mop bucket and mop. I actually thought that was going to be on wheels for some reason, and it's not. We did go ahead and you saw us assemble it on camera. Rebecca held the camera for me. I haven't looked at the footage yet. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I bought this with the understanding that I was going to hate this mop handle. So this mop handle has actually had some very negative reviews. The mop system itself is great. This handle has had a lot of negative reviews. And I went into it knowing I was going to hate this because what broke on my last mop was it came in multiple part assembly on a handle that had a attachment in the middle of a handle. Well, a mop, you're going to be scrubbing with it. And some people are like, well, we like it because it's adjustable. I don't. And I knew I was going to hate that. And when I was assembling it yesterday, I already know I'm going to hate the handle, but I'm going to try it just to try it. Here's the thing that we found out though. You can buy solid handles from O-CEDAR for that mop head on Amazon. So we have a mop handle coming today of Amazon. So I'm going to do the kitchen today because it's driving me insane. Like everybody's just been wearing a lot of socks and stuff because and I haven't had time. But this is a realistic, like, I didn't dirty the floor to do this. My mop broke months ago and I haven't had the time. We finally had the time, so we're going to try it out. Also, if you have suggestions, so I found out that you're not supposed to use vinegar water on tile floors because the vinegar will actually break down the grout in it. So we have completely stopped using, and we use vinegar water for everything. So if you have a suggestion for a non-harsh cleaner that will actually clean tile floors, please drop something in the comments and let me know below, because right now I think I'm just going to switch back to Pine Sol for now because I still had some and I still use Pine Sol on like my wooden cabinets there. I have an air effect thing there that my grandmother bought me. That's what you just heard. And I point it this way, so it's not like pointed directly over the fridge. Well, it's kind of over the fridge, but it's not like directly over the stove. So that's why it's this way. It's loud when nobody's up, and Madeline and I are the only ones up. She's in another room. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it out with that handle. I'm going to do the kitchen floor today. I may do a part 2 of the living room and that floor, because again, mops and broke a couple months, and try out the living room floor with the solid handle and see if I like it. But for now, I'm going to move Chubby and Panda's dishes and we'll see how this works out. Also, I have not used like a mop bucket like this to mop with since I was a teenager working years ago. So we'll give this a try. Here is the completed floor, and if you look over there, that's the second area I started with, and it's already drying. So before, using a mop that I didn't have like a spin system or a ring system of any style with, this floor would still be having like standing water in some places, and like I would have to mop back over it to get up like where water was excessive from the mop. But it looks like it was cleaned without being excessive. Now, this water, I don't know if you can tell without the living room light on, it's pretty gross. So again, where I went, yeah, you can kind of tell, where I had went so long without a mop, it looks pretty bad. So I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is, or maybe tonight, the mop handle is supposed to be here tonight. What I may do is just go ahead and mop it again with the new mop handle. Now with this one, trying it out on a floor that I actually had to scrub with this 2-part handle right here, I don't like the handle. I actually had one point on one of the parts where you're supposed to turn it to close the handle to make it where it's not going to collapse on you. It actually turned while I was just doing this in the water to kind of make sure I got all the water through here. The handle actually turned on me. So yeah, but that was what a lot of the online reviews said as well, was love the mopping system, love the spin out, love how the floor looks, love that this is washer safe, which I will try this mop head in the washer tonight or sometime today and show you that as well. But the handle is awful. So I wanted to try it because people were raving about how great this mop was and this mopping system is, especially for like busy moms like me with 4 homeschool kids, running a YouTube channel and travel. So yeah, I'm really glad that this worked out really well. This is going to make cleaning before we go anywhere so much easier. Cleaning in between travels so much easier. And I'm really looking forward to trying that new handle when it arrives today. But yeah, so far this is what it looked like. And it did pretty well. There were a couple of like super stuck on spots of food that it just like was going to you know, live on the floor forever and stick to the floor forever. And I just kind of scraped up a little bit with my thumbnail and then scrubbed the rest of it off with the mop and it did fine. But like the super sticky spots where somebody had stepped in something sticky and then kind of smeared on the floor, the mop got that up just fine. Well, we'll go ahead and show you that. So here is the mop head now. And I can't really get it any other way right now with it super soaking wet, but I will try. Okay, there we go. So here's the mop head after. Nope. This is real life, guys. And I'm hitting it on the table behind me. There we go. There's the mop head after one use on a super dirty floor. And it did really well. I didn't know, but I figured it out, that, move trash can, when you finish, you know, getting it in there, and you can tell it used quite a bit of water, but it's not like puddling. It's dispersed pretty evenly. Whenever you finish spinning it, and also let it let it spin in your hand. Don't try to hold it still. It does kind of bunch up, but one little shake and that's pretty good. So yeah, also like that, since you do that to kind of loosen it back up. You may not have to. I did because I found it made it easier. Yeah, you can feel that joint right there that it's not trying to focus on because it wants y'all to see the beautiful floor. I actually back in October scrubbed the grout in there, so I can't really tell like if it cleaned the grout really thoroughly or not, but it looks pretty good. So we'll see. Like, I usually have to do the grout every 6 months, so we'll look again in June, July, and see what we think. But yeah, whenever I go to shake it here, you can feel this right here kind of just not wanting to stay completely closed. So there is that. I also will mention that when I picked up the mop bucket to move it without the mop in it earlier, when I was mopping, I needed the bucket out of the way. This handle is not centered great. So there is, I don't know if you can tell, there's a lean to it and it leans forward. So be careful moving this by hand to a different floor. And if this was not hardwood floor, I totally would not be doing this right now. But I am planning on doing this floor eventually. I have some other cleaning to do in here first. But so far, like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. See, it's just kind of bunched up and it probably will loosen up, but I love the triangular shape because I was able to get this under cabinets that my other mop would not thoroughly clean under. That's probably the best, other than hand scrubbing, underneath that cabinet that it has ever been. Because I was able to get like this corner here on the flat side under that cabinet, and then under my stove, you may have seen in that clip I did in front of under the stove, when it's flat, the mop piece kind of goes up as well, so it's cleaning under the edge of the stove and it was cleaning the floor under it, and that little piece fit under my stove and that looks really good. So far I'm really happy with it. Let me bring you all back in when the new mop handle arrives. No, the mop handle is not here yet. But I sat down for like 30-45 minutes to answer messages on Instagram and comments on Instagram. And check this out. It's pretty much, I'm going to go ahead and step on it while my feet aren't super clean, but I'm going to remop it again tonight anyways. Yeah, it's clean. It feels clean. And it's mostly dry. Like there's a couple spots here and there, but it's mostly dry. There are some streaks, but again, like the water was so super dirty by the time I finished. But it's mostly dry. It looks great. I will still have to do like grout cleaning, but I expected that. I expected to still have to do grout cleaning, but it's mostly dry after 30-45 minutes. Before it would have taken 2 hours for it to dry, but yeah, it's already dry. And I mean, like, this is where I started when I started actually over here. No, I started here, and then I remopped it later, but I started over here. That's already been mopped twice and it's dry. And then I did over here first, and then it did it a second time and it's dry. And then when I redid the entire floor, I started right here and it's already dry. Somebody's being a good boy while he's waiting for the floor to dry. Aren't you being a good boy? His tail was just like, nyeh. Nyeh. You being a good boy. We had to crate him because he would not. Like, we've put barriers up before. Nope, he would go around them to get in the kitchen. And like, he wouldn't even need to be in the kitchen. He would just be a jerk and like go from here to there. So we made it a rule eventually, like, okay, he has to be in the kennel whenever we're mopping. So, but yeah, this looks really good. This is also like our family's main entryway. Yeah, the laundry room did not get grout cleaner on it. So that might be a good comparison, is like, this is what it looks like now. And then maybe later today I can get all the boots and things out of here from mud and winter and rain and things. And then I'll clean this. And then you can see what it looks like when grout hasn't been deep cleaned in a while. And then you can see how it looks with the grout when it's completely dry after that. But yeah, so we're going to wait for the mop handle to get here. And then I'm going to do this again tonight. Because like I said, I kind of knew it needed to get it again because it's been months. And I normally would not wait that long. But the mop was broke and there was nothing I could do about it. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to do my research before I purchase something. I don't buy something just because it's the new trendy thing. And that's not why I bought the O-CEDAR mop. I bought it because several people who clean apartments for a living, who like have hardwood floors throughout their house, you know, those kind of friends, those are ones I trusted with, like, hey, I'm looking into this, what are your thoughts? I may also vacuum. I find it's easier when you have dogs that shed. I'm looking at you. That it's easier to actually vacuum your hardwood and tile floors before you mop it than to sweep, because I thoroughly swept and there's still hair on this and there's probably some hair in the mop itself. So I'm probably going to vacuum this and then I'll mop it again. And like I said, I'll bring you guys back in for the unboxing of the solid mop handle. The mop handle, you can go ahead and take it out. The mop handle we thought was supposed to be coming solid, one solid piece, not broken down. Are you looking to see if it actually was supposed to come in pieces? Because all the pictures I saw online, it was solid. And then it's not. But what is it you said about this? You have one exactly like this at work?
I have an O-CEDAR broom at work, and it has held up pretty well, so...
With this handle? Yeah. Okay, because I already hate the collapsible handle that's on it after using it once. So this handle's supposed to be different. So when I get back from Mom Night Out, we can look at it. So I'm just going to include some more clips here of using the mop and just talk about basically what happened. So when the second package came in, the mop was not a solid handle. So we went back to Amazon, looked at the fine print again, and as much as they tried to advertise it as like this sturdy solid handle mop, down in the fine print towards the bottom it actually said that it was not a solid handle, it was actually an assembly handle. So that was problem number one. Problem number two is it says it goes to the O-CEDAR, but then when it arrives it does not attach to the O-CEDAR mop head. So now we're at a point where we are stuck with a handle that doesn't work, and I'm just ready to send it back. But we're actually not going to even show using it because we can't even attach it to it. So the thought currently right now is we're going to order another one and just, I guess, spend a whole lot more research time. Like, we actually research before we buy stuff. and it was not what we felt was advertised. So the original handle is okay, but after using it, I don't like it. I don't trust it. I don't like collapsible handles. They don't last as long. They're not as durable. And I know some people, like, they love that and it's fine, but for me personally, I'm not a fan of it. So we are still going to order another handle, and we're going to get like the industrial sturdy one, because apparently they actually do not sell a solid handle of these. And like, if you look at the pictures online, it looks like a solid handle, but then when you look at the fine print, it says does not come as a solid handle. It comes packed down, and it was not what we wanted. So we're going to end up having to send that back, and then we'll order another handle. Overall, I'm really happy with the entire mop system though. I do love the fact that it has that spinning option on it. I think it cleans the floor really well. I'm probably going to buy multiple mop heads though, because even after like one round, it was pretty bad. And I know it had been a couple months when we used it. The other thing is, I have a dog with long fur. The puppy doesn't really shed, but the dog has long fur, and even if you vacuum, they're still going to end up in the mop head. So I'd rather just go ahead and have a second mop head for like days when I'm mopping the entire house before travel, because I prefer to just mop the entire floor right before we travel. And that way, like, I could have one for the kitchen, and maybe one for just the bathrooms, and then one for just the hardwood floors, like the living room and the kids' bedrooms. So like I said, overall, I love it. I would probably give the entire system an 8 out of 10. I hate the rod, but I love everything else about the system. Easy to use. The bucket is a little awkward how the handle is not centered, so then when you go to pour it out, it's like already kind of tilting as you pick it up with the bucket. But I mean, that's to come with the build of that kind of mop bucket style. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I am looking forward to using this in the coming months as we prepare for our next big adventure.